Drift Development, a consulting firm specializing in iOS applications and game development. Visit us today at driftdevelopment.com. Okay, first things first, let's create a broadcasting application. And today we're going to start with a single view application. We are going to name our project Beacon Sample. And we are going to create the company identifier com.beaconsample.beacon_app. And we're going to store it in our demo folder. Now let's go to our main navigation, and we are going to create an embedded navigation controller. We do this by clicking Editor and the Navigation Controller. Notice it created a view controller that is linked to the class view controller. Let's import the frameworks for the beacon, and then we click on Build Faces. Let's include Bluetooth, Core Bluetooth, and Core Location. Then let's add some images here for graphical representation. Let's create an images folder here. Then let's copy in the images that are going to be our background and our icon. Under Simulated Metrics, let's hide the navigation bar. Then we are going to create a button that is going to broadcast to our beacons. When we create the button, it automatically resizes too big, so we have to go back in and clean it up. Let's go ahead and add a label so we can see the status of our beacons in the future. And we're going to create a status label. Then we have to link the button to our code. So we're going to link this button and name its action a button action that is going to be broadcast button pressed. Then let's link the status label. Okay, right here we have to import these two libraries. We are bringing in the core Bluetooth header and the core location header. And on the header file, we're going to add a peripheral delegate from Bluetooth. It is called CB Peripheral Manager Delegate. Let's look around our methods. This duplicate state tells us when the state changes. So this is the method we need to import. Let's go add that to our view controller. And we mark this method, and then we import the method for later. Okay, back to the header file, we have to declare our properties. Beacon region is where we declare our UUID major and minor. But how do we have a UUID? Let's bring up the terminal, and we're going to use UUID gen to get one. And so let's declare it using a predefined macro. We also have to declare a major and minor. So that we can support a larger number of beacons. The major and minor values must be an integer. Okay, and the viewDidLoad method, we need to set the beacon region. So here, declare our UUID. Then we need to allocate and define our beacon region. Right, and put in self.myBeaconRegion equals CL beacon region and a UUID, major and minor identifier. An identifier can be anything related to your app, and we are setting ours to com.sample.identifier. Then we have to set our peripheral data. Here we set it to our beacon's registered power. Okay, let's create a method called setupBeacon and move some of this logic into there so it is cleaner. Okay, so now since we're going to test, we need to start setting up this button, pressed event. So we're going to set up our peripheral manager. So first we have to see if the beacon is advertising. Okay. There. For the recap, we set up our beacon. We assign the CUID with the beacon ID. Then that UUID will be assigned to this beacon region with its major and minor identifiers. This beacon ID with its major and minor identifiers will be critical to the monitoring of the sender app. Then we have the peripheral data. So there can be many beacon regions, but there's only going to be one peripheral manager. When the beacon is broadcasting, the did update state method will delegate that event. So let's check the state of peripherals. Right, the peripherals on. Okay. If it is off, what happens? If it is on, what happens? Now when it is on, then we need to broadcast. Here we check to see if the peripheral's power is on. If it's not on, then let's check to see if it's off. To start advertising, it's peripheral data, which is the UUID, the major and the minor. Also, let's change the status to say broadcasting started. If in case the device that the user has supports Bluetooth but it's off, then we need to stop the advertising. If it's powered off, then let's tell it to stop advertising and let's update the status. And if it's an unsupported peripheral, let's change its status to device doesn't support iBeacon. Let's go ahead and test. So now we see our cool button and our status page. On the next chapter, we will review the receiver app. Bye for now.